Dillon Danis and Logan Paul finally had their fight. Logan won every single round without fail, and in total, Dillon Danis landed 16 punches in 5 rounds, which is probably the worst performance ever. But to add insult to injury, the fight actually got cancelled, and Dillon Danis got disqualified because he tried to do a takedown on Logan and tried to wrestle him to the floor. And then there was this massive scrap in the arena where Dillon was throwing punches at the security guards, and to say the least, it just ended up in an absolute mess. It was comical. Now, to me, it was very obvious that Dillon Danis had no intention on even winning the fight. He literally showed up to get a paycheck and then he bounced. And because he threw so little punches, I think it just goes to show that he barely even trained for the fight. Now, I will admit, when Dillon on the final round went to grapple Logan and pull him to the floor, it was pretty damn funny. For me, I think he personally did it because he knew he put in such a terrible performance and he knew he was throwing nothing, and people would come out of the fight going, what the hell are you doing? I think he went to attack Logan and put him on the floor purely for entertainment value because he knew his friend Conor McGregor would be watching, and I think in his head he thought, oh, if I try and wrestle Logan on the floor right now, Conor's going to think it's really funny and we're going to have a laugh about it, and people aren't going to think it was just a complete waste of time. He literally did it just to be entertaining. And although I personally thought it was really funny and absolutely ridiculous, I do fully understand why people did get so angry about this. Because let's be honest, Dillon Danis did so much shit talking and he did nothing to back it up. The reality is not many people like Dillon Danis. He is a joke on the internet because he always pulls out of fights, and not many people have ever liked Dillon and always seen him as a joke. But because there are a lot of people who don't like Logan Paul, there was a lot of people who were supporting Dillon purely because they don't like Logan and they wanted to see Dillon beat him. And they were obviously loving all the stuff that he was saying about Logan. So the people who actually thought that Dillon Danis was going to win this fight, they were so deluded. I don't see how anyone in a million years could have ever thought that Dillon Danis was going to win this fight. The people who thought that Dillon was going to win were purely just anti-Logan. And it's like, even to the build up to the fight, there's a clip of Dillon Danis asking Tommy Fury what's considered an illegal jab and whether he can keep his elbows up. Take a look at this.
How it stands like this. Sometimes I do this. So yeah. It's not bad, right? No. Sure? Yeah, but I don't do it like that, do it like, because I keep that shell like that. Yeah. Think so? Yeah. And you can keep your elbow up, right? You just can't be like... You can do whatever you want to, as long as it's here. These rules, I don't know what it's going to be.
That shows how unprepared he was, where he was asking Tommy some of the most basic questions possible. But then we have Logan, who seemed to be preparing as if he was going for some sort of world title fight. You know, he was promising everyone that he was going to KO Dillon for all the stuff that Dillon was saying about his fiance, and then Logan didn't do that. He couldn't even knock out a guy who just stood there and threw about 6 punches per round. But despite that, Logan did get his victory finally in boxing, and it's like I said in my previous video with Tommy Fury and KSI, the win that Logan got is one that he cannot brag about, because the whole fight was just a disaster. Logan Paul didn't knock out a guy who was absolutely dreadful. He didn't even hurt the guy who has destroyed his missus' reputation forever. So there's no way Logan could really walk around and be like, oh look, I won, I'm the best, because it's nothing to gloat about. Because even Logan's performance wasn't great. Yes, he threw a lot of punches, but realistically, he should have been able to knock Dillon out, because Dillon was just that bad. And I can't lie, this entire fight has done more damage to these two than it has any good. And let me quickly explain that. Logan Paul has disappointed people for not knocking out Dillon after saying that he is trained and how he's the best he's ever been, and how he's like, I promise you, I'm going to knock out Dillon Danis. This is for my pride. And he didn't even do that. So people were disappointed that the fact that Logan Paul didn't even knock him out. At the end of the day, Logan Paul's fiance's reputation is now tarnished forever. And I don't mean to be funny, but Logan Paul as a public figure, surely it gets to the point where if your missus' reputation is so bad, surely you'd reconsider this relationship. But most of all, Logan Paul has ruined his own reputation by allowing his partner to sue Dillon Danis for slander. And this has been an extremely controversial decision because, of course, in the fighting world, that's just almost like it's almost like a rule that you never sue the other person, especially when there's build up to a fight. Like, I know what Dillon did was kind of out of order, and he did basically ruin this girl's career, if she even had one. But at the end of the day, it is purely for promotion of this fight. And for me, I wasn't watching all the build-ups. All I knew about was what Dillon Danis was saying about Logan Paul's fiance. So to me, Dillon was the one selling the fight more than anyone. So for Logan to then turn around and sue him, it's a bit like, probably not do that. It just looks really bad. And a lot of people have said that it's just something you don't do. You settle it in the ring. And you know, this is the problem with Logan. He's on this new thing now where if anybody hurts his feelings, he threatens to sue them. The guy did exactly the same thing with CoffeeZilla, and then he realised that he looked like an absolute fool for saying that he was going to sue CoffeeZilla for exposing him for scamming people. So he ended up backtracking on that one and then actually apologising about it, but only on a secondary channel. Not his main channel, not his podcast. He kept that one quiet. Look, and because of this fight, Logan Paul has been exposed even more so as a scammer for all of the NFT scams. People further know that Logan Paul isn't exactly the best boxer. He's now getting a reputation for being the guy that sues everybody. You know, he's marrying a girl who has an incredibly dirty past. He's pretending to be friends with KSI so that his young, impressionable fan base buys some crap, sugary, acidy drink. And then also lying about them owning it when someone else does. When you look at all of this as a whole, if you was to ask me honestly, why does Logan Paul have a fan base in 2023? And my answer is, I don't know. I genuinely have no idea how anybody can support this man. And then also, it's the same with Dillon Danis. Dillon Danis has just disappointed everybody because everybody expected him to actually do some sort of damage against Logan because, like I said earlier, people were rooting for Dillon because they wanted to see Logan get hurt. But then on top of that, Dillon Danis has also been exposed for also being a scammer. So they're just as bad as each other. They both seem to scam people in trying to buy NFTs. And the funny thing is although Dillon did get a lot of attention for everything that he was doing to the build up to this fight, it definitely just became a 15 minutes of fame purely because all the people that were supporting Dillon, like I said, wanted him to knock out Logan or do something other than just stand there. And because he didn't do that, all those people that were eventually becoming fans of Dillon, they're not going to stick around. They're like, oh yeah, whatever. He's not going to have any loyal fans from that now. And on top of all of this, Dillon Danis is now going to be getting sued by Logan Paul's partner, and he could have to pay out probably his entire purse, even more, for this fight. He's lost a lot of respect from a lot of people, and he's going to lose pretty much all of his money. So yeah, this fight, no, to me, again, I don't think there's a real winner. Both of these two have completely destroyed their reputations. And the pair of them, I will say, they're not good people. The only positive thing I can say about this whole fight is I guess I could say that Dillon Danis made me laugh a few times. But other than that, it was an absolute shambles, like the KSI and Tommy fight. And yeah, that was supposed to be one of the most exciting fights. The actual boxing itself was terrible. Yeah, that's my opinion on the Dillon Danis and Logan Paul fight. I don't think it did either of them any good. I think it actually made them worse off. If you want to share your opinion to me, write it down in the comments down below. And if you're new to this channel, why not consider hitting that subscribe button? Trust me, I've got a lot more content coming your way. I just want to say thank you for watching, everybody. I hope you take it easy. Peace.